is that we have a system right now of corporatism. You know, it's not capitalism. We don't have a free market. We have corporatism. And everybody that gets elected right now is part of that system. And here's how that happened. Do you guys remember the Tea Party and how the Tea Party got started? The Tea Party got started because of the bailouts. Everybody was enraged because the bailouts. Everybody was enraged because the bailouts were going on. And so they couldn't take the bailouts anymore, and so they said, we've had enough. And then comes the Tea Party. 4 years later, let's fast forward of what that Tea Party was all about. Now you hear the Tea Party talking about the banks all the time, not on the news. I mean, a lot of people I know in different Tea Parties across Texas, there are different, depending on the one that you're a part of, you're going to hear a little bit about that. But for the most part, the people in the Tea Party have forgotten about the banks, and they're focused on social issues and just getting Obama out of there, and they don't care about that kind of stuff anymore. Now, why this matters? Because Paul Ryan, Eric Cantor, John Boehner, Pete Sessions, Mitch McConnell, these guys, those are kind of darlings of the Tea Party, right? Could we agree? Those guys all voted for the bailouts. Let's take Paul Ryan specifically. Let's get down and dirty, because the Republican Party said, this is our example of fiscal conservatism at work. And they praised this guy. He doesn't look like that. They praised Paul Ryan, right? Well, Paul Ryan voted for the auto bailouts. He voted for TARP. He voted for the stimulus twice. He voted for the largest expansion of Medicare in our nation's history. He voted for the Patriot Act, which is the most unpatriotic act ever devised. He voted for the NDAA. He voted for all of this stuff non-stop. That list goes on. He voted for unemployment benefits to be extended. He voted for everything that you could ever imagine the Tea Party standing up against. That guy voted for it. He's elected, and he's a hero. I don't know how that happened. That's like a magic trick, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'll pull a rabbit out of my hat. The same guy you voted for last time, who did all the stuff you hate, he's your hero. And everybody goes, oh, yeah. You know, and that's where we are. You know why? Because we live in a corporate system where those people have to be in power, because those are the ones that are going to bail the banks out. Those are the ones that are going to vote for crazy stuff like Solyndra. Those are the ones that are going to keep on doing these over and over again. And whenever they need their votes, they're going to get it. Now, let's talk briefly along the lines about Ted Cruz. Let's go back to the bailouts. Who was the biggest beneficiary of the bailouts? You might not know this, so you don't have to answer that. Well, Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs. Now, how is Goldman Sachs going to be the beneficiary? Because you know they only got $14 billion. Well, the only thing is, what you don't know is that Goldman Sachs, AIG, backed Goldman Sachs' toxic assets. AIG was one of the largest benefactors of the bailout, $195 billion. Timothy Geithner made it to where Goldman Sachs, they would get bailed out, and all of the toxic assets they had on their books that AIG was covering were covered. Had AIG floundered, Goldman Sachs would have went down, without a question. Now, where is this going? This is going to two things. One, Ted Cruz worked for Bush, and Bush's policies gave, as a domestic advisor, which gave us the bailouts. Secondly, Ted Cruz's wife is a vice president of Goldman Sachs. Ted Cruz's wife also worked for the Council of Foreign Relations, which has to do with the interstate that they wanted to do through Texas, the Texas Trans-Texas Corridor. So here's what we're talking about. Ted Cruz, well, you know what? Political outsider, right? Is that really what? That's what you've been led to believe? You've been told that Ted Cruz is this political outsider, when in fact Ted Cruz is as big of an insider as you could possibly get. And so what you had in that race was a choice between the oil companies and the banks, and the banks won. You know, between Dewhurst and Cruz, those were your options. So that's one of the main reasons I'm running here, because I'm against that type of corporatism that seems to just be vested in politics, so much so that no one even understands how deep it is. And when you believe that you truly have cast your vote for some sort of fiscal conservative, you haven't. You just bought into the pill that they were selling you. And it's the same. And obviously, in Texas, I'm picking on these particular Republicans because Republicans and the Tea Party seem to lean towards these guys, and I just want to know, please look a little closer. All you have to do is look at their voting record. Not one word that I have said is untrue. The voting record is right there for you to examine. You just need to take the time out of your day to read it. And we don't. So, what do we get? The same old thing.